Today on the show, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favourite video games of all time. So, I've been playing video games for most of my life, and I like them a lot. Not as much as I like comic books, but I still like them quite a lot. At number 5, we have Skyrim. So Skyrim was actually my first ever PS3 game, and I really enjoyed it, but I didn't know a thing about it when I first started playing. I had played Oblivion on the Xbox 360, but I couldn't really get into it. I don't think I like the controls, but I really like the controls on the PS3 in Skyrim, so I don't know, maybe there's a difference there. Now, I actually play Skyrim on the PC now thanks to the Steam Summer Sales, but what I love about this game is that you will never run out of things to do. What I love about this game is that even if you run out of things to do in the core game, you can just download a mod and do something else. Like currently, I'm playing as Aquaman with Batman and Superman following me around. I also like the lore surrounding Skyrim, but I do admit the lore in the Elder Scrolls universe tends to be a bit wishy-washy, though I understand that this was intentional. I get it, it's done to represent how stories get changed over time depending on who's in the throne, and they tend to change history for their own needs and benefits. I totally understand, but it does mean I can never do a history video on the Elder Scrolls universe. I also really like the gameplay mechanics, but what I love most about them is that every open world game has this glitchy charm, and Skyrim is definitely at the pinnacle of glitchy charm. So for being an endless stream of entertainment, having great mechanics, and just being all-round charming, Skyrim gets number 5. At number 4, we have Persona 3 FES. So a lot of you probably already know that I really like the Persona games. I like them a lot. And Persona 4 isn't in this top 5, but it is in my top 10, probably at like number 6. The thing that I love about Persona 3 and Persona 4 is that I play more dating sims and RPGs than anything else, and these two games really do marry the two genres very well. The thing that makes me prefer Persona 3 was that Persona 4 was this cute coming-of-age story, and you definitely changed the world for the better at the end, and it definitely had a huge plot twist that no one saw coming. Persona 3, for me, right from the beginning, I understood that my actions could change the world. Also, the story was just plot twist after WTF, and you didn't see any of them coming. And at the same time, the game allowed you to breathe, which is something that a lot of games forget to do. I also really like the soundtrack. I think it's some of the best writing music out there, and writing music is worth its weight in gold. So for having a great story, marrying my two favorite genres, and having a really good soundtrack, Persona 3 gets number 4. Moving on to number 3, and we have Fable 2. So lots of people prefer Fable 1 to Fable 2, and lots of people prefer Fable 2 to Fable 1, but what we can all agree on is that nobody prefers Fable 3. I thought Fable 2 was a really great game, and I really feel like Lionhead should have stuck in trying to take Fable in the direction that Fable 2 tried to take Fable in, as opposed to all the Connect stuff that they're doing at the moment. Fable has this lore that is really intricate, and I actually talked about it in one of my earliest ever videos, and it took me 20 minutes to go over it. I really do feel like all the Connect stuff that Lionhead is trying to push onto Fable is making this really amazing lore just turn into a gimmick. I love Fable 2 because you really feel like all the choices and changes that you make matter. You actually see them affect the world around you. Also, Fable 2 and Fable 3 do have some of the best voiceover work that you will hear in any video game of all time. Fable really does feel very English, and by that I mean all English media just has this feel that you really just can't find outside of the UK. So for having a good story, amazing voiceover, really good visuals and soundtrack, and a feel that you can't find anywhere else, Fable 2 gets number 3. Now we're at number 2, and we have Final Fantasy IX. I will say this right away, Final Fantasy IX has everything I look for in an RPG. I really wish they would make more Final Fantasy games like it. I think all of the Final Fantasy games are good, just these days they seem to be trying to make all the other Final Fantasy games play a lot more like 7, and I really wasn't the biggest Final Fantasy VII fan. Before you leave an angry comment, don't worry, I do like Final Fantasy VII, I just don't understand the big deal around it. The world that Final Fantasy IX is set in is so amazing and intricate, and there are so many angles that you can explore it, and for its time, it was very visually appealing. The game is colourful and really does pride itself in being a JRPG, as opposed to doing that dark and gritty thing that just comes across as cheap and tacky. There are so many life lessons to be learnt from this game, which isn't an easy thing to get across in a video game, and its soundtrack is so good that it could be its own CD even if it wasn't part of a video game. So for an amazing story, amazing soundtrack, and for probably being the most replayable RPG in existence, Final Fantasy IX gets number 2. And now we're at number 1, and you know the drill, this game is going to be nothing like the rest of the games on this list. At number 1, we have Journey. So when I was initially going to buy Journey, my friends at the time told me not to get it because it was just running. But then I realized these were the same people that thought Michael Bay's Transformers was the greatest thing in the world. I went against their intellectual judgment and found the best game that I have ever played, and it changed me as a human. The game is so open and so beautiful, and its soundtrack is so well done that it puts you into a state of meditation as you play the game. I honestly feel like if you play through this whole game, you come out a better person. You understand your place in the world, and if you don't know where your place is, you begin searching for it. In my opinion, this game has the best soundtrack for doing anything creative to, be it writing, drawing, or even video editing. Visually, this game is fantastic. The way the sand shimmers is just beautiful, and when you're underground, everything is so visually appealing. I would love for this game to be released on the PC so I could experience it all over again at 60 FPS. Also, the ending of this game just makes everything feel so worthwhile just to experience that final level. This is the only game on this list that I could see myself doing a totally serious Let's Play on, no jokes, just me talking calmly, playing this game. I could talk about this game for a million years, so for all of those reasons and more, Journey gets number 1. Some honourable mentions include Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, the Dragon Age series, Shadow of the Colossus, and Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. ItsSuperEffective! Okay guys, that is it for today. What are your favourite video games? Please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more video game videos. And also don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.